Hey, hi everybody. Okay, we're live again with the White Light Mystic, which is me. Not really sure why our names didn't come up on the bottom, but this is Katie Mariotti, next to me, right here, over there, and she is one of the founders of the group In Our Time, and we're just in the middle of a discussion talking about what's happening with the group and stuff. Today is September 15th 2020 at 6:10 p.m. Sorry, we're a little bit late, but we were chatting, so I know we're a couple minutes late. That's my bad. I apologize. And so the telephone number in the blue on the bottom under our faces is my phone number. If anybody wants to call me regarding this conversation that we're having right now, or text me regarding this, or to call me about candles or readings, Reiki, whatever you want to do. That's my business phone number. So feel free to call that. And that's my little logo. So how you doing, Katie?
Good. How are you?
Good. So let's continue the conversation where we left it off a second ago. So what's been going on since the last time we talked?
So two things. What I did, I got all the stuff, some of the stuff to make the bags that we were talking about last time, and I was going to show everybody. And then unfortunately, Jackie couldn't be here. It's a hard time for her right now. She just previously moved. Her kids she's 3 girls. One's younger and not in school, but the 2 other ones are virtual. And that, I think, across the board is posing an issue.
Yeah.
These kids are struggling to stay in one seat and on virtual for so long. So right now it's time for dinner and getting the kids ready for bed. But I did ask her some questions and I got her answers that I want to share with everybody about the addiction side. And, once everything calms down, they kind of get into a routine. She'll definitely be on and be able to talk more because I think she has more to the story.
Okay, well, Hope, put a pin in it right there, just in case anybody sees this who didn't see the first time that you were on. Can you explain what your group is called In Our Time? Can you explain a little bit about it?
Yeah, so what we did is Jackie and I came together and we are trying to advocate for Niagara County. Primarily is my hope to kind of what I want to see is more mental health and more addiction services out there. Especially for me, it's the mental health piece. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where my struggle is, and Jackie's is the addiction. So we came together and tried to figure out ways to help. So as of right now, we are really working toward we have basket raffles that are online and on in our time page in our group. And half of the money that we've raised so far goes to making these bags that I'll show you. And the other half just stays into an account that we can donate back to Niagara County. And eventually got our Cricut. And, our hope is to make shirts, not just plaster with mental health, but just cool shirts, some cool sayings, stuff with our logo on it, stuff with just our name, and to sell them and to also raise money. And, we were talking to, our hope is that hopefully, COVID, something happens with it. It goes away. But
goes away.
Yeah, with all this shit stops. But we're thinking about next spring, next summer, having an outside basket raffle to really promote this and raise money and bring attention. And hopefully by then we've done a little bit more. We're still in the beginning stages. We're not exactly sure what will come of this, but we know we want to help. So
okay,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, so what are your bags for?
So the bags, we are giving them to people who are suffering from addiction or even mental health, who don't have a home, who maybe are living on the streets in trap houses, that they just don't have the basic needs of, deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste, body wash, shampoo, and bras, underwear, those kind of things that I think we all take for granted that these individuals who are on the street don't have. So we do have these bags. I don't know if you guys can see them. They're
That's
just
a big
yeah, they're just your your reusable bags. We're gonna put our logo on the middle of it.
Here, let me try to make it bigger for you. Nope, not me. Nope. Nope. Nope, still not working. Okay, I guess we'll do that.
All right, that works. So they're
Nope.
decent sized bags. They're like
a shopping bag.
yeah, like your reusable shopping bag. They got nice little handles because we thought it would be better. At first, so this was Jackie's idea because I was like, oh yeah, we could put. At first, I'm like, let's put them in Ziploc bags. And she's like, what about reusable bags? I'm like, yeah, that works too.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think of that, but it definitely works a lot better. We got these because I don't know, like I coupon. So I'm able to get the products for cheaper. So I still put that back up again. But realistically buying they're heavy. Two, they still with coupons can get expensive. So, even if we put like conditioner, body wash, and shampoo.
Yeah.
And we have I got 2 bags of them.
Oh wow.
50 of them. So we can fill at least I'll definitely have to order more, but and then when I was couponing, I found things like this, like little travel size deodorants,
right?
Body wash, other deodorants and women's body wash. So, we can stick them in there too. I found them on clearance. I also got 5 boxes of pads, 5 boxes of tampons that we can stick in the bags for them to use. And then, we're always looking for those donations too. Even if you have mittens, even if they are used, as long as they're not gross and dirty.
Yeah.
Now that winter's coming and in Buffalo, we all know how that goes. So, and what I said too, on when I go live, look around your house. If you have scarves, mittens, hats that we can throw in there, or even if you can, sometimes I am. I'm always notorious for buying things and then maybe not needing them. So if it's the wrong size and I never return them. So if you have an unused packaged thing of underwear, or even if you're oh, I bought the wrong thing of pads, which I've done plenty of times and I'm not going to use them. So they just sit around. They're fine. As long as they're wrapped, we'll throw them in a bag.
Yeah.
So we definitely will take any of that stuff.
That's really good. So when you take them to places, where are you taking them?
So right now they're mainly going to be distributed in the West Side, in Erie County until, because I think that's more, I don't know.
Needed.
Yeah. And Jackie knows. So Jackie knows this is all stuff Jackie has experienced. So she really knows, what she needed at the time that she didn't have or couldn't get. And she knows kind of the spots. So, and I can connect with people in Niagara County to also find out where they're needed. But right now, mainly, we're going to do Erie County for the bags. Not to say that we wouldn't do them for Niagara County or won't, but this first batch will go out to Erie County.
Yeah. So when are you planning on, dispensing them?
I want to get a couple more things. If we can get some mittens and I think what else? We got the pads, we got the body wash. Maybe even I'm going to talk to Jackie about maybe ordering water bottles, so that they can refill up. Or at least get water, if they're at a Wendy's or something, they can go and get water.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, just kind of figuring out what more we need and what more exactly we want in these bags.
Right.
I think it's a pretty good start. But I'd like to make sure that they're as full as we can make them for them.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. And then with them in the bag, and you have the smaller little individual bottles, they're easier to carry from place to place, because I imagine the people that you're giving them to don't have set homes.
No. No, and they're all over, and whether they're couch surfing or, they're on the streets, they're in trap houses. There's no one place, so at least they have something.
Yeah.
So, and at the end of the day, when they get money, they're not worried about pads. They're not worried. I mean, I would assume. I think a lot of people who are struggling with addiction are worried about, where can I get some drugs from? I need them because the withdrawal is horrible. So they're not really thinking like, hey, I'm low on shampoo, when they really don't have, they don't even know where they're going to shower, or, so. But I did, so because Jackie couldn't be here, I think I told you guys, like, I did ask her some questions. So I don't know if you want me.
I was just going to ask you. So Can you tell me more about Jackie, because I know you both have a specific part in your group, and why you named it what you named it.
Mm-hmm. So like I said, Jackie is okay. Well, first of all, we named it In Our Time because we figured, so I'm just scrolling to her thing. We named it In Our Time because everybody does stuff in their own time. And although that seems like obvious and people are like, oh, duh, it's not that. People don't always understand that, where some people are just so quick to be like, oh, you have anxiety, or you're depressed, or you're addicted to a drug. Well, just stop taking the drug. Just be happy. And it's not that simple. And I think a lot of times misconception about like people who are struggling with drug abuse is that they chose it. And I think for me, I will be honest, I don't know a ton about addiction. That's really like that's Jackie's part. I know a lot about mental health. I went to school and I got a degree in sociology, like that kind of stuff in human services. That's, all around, that's kind of like my thing. But my biggest pet peeve is when I hear people say, oh, well, they chose this. They chose to pick up that needle. They chose to smoke that. And that's true. They did do that. But why? You have to ask yourself, why did they do that?
Yeah.
What led them to do it? And 9 times out of 10, it's that their mental health is suffering. And in Jackie's story too, she does talk about that a lot, her mental health. And she said, maybe if my mental health could have been addressed, then maybe it wouldn't have led her to where she is.
Yeah.
But like I said, she's mainly, she has experienced the addiction part. I've experienced the mental health part. So we think we're a good team because
it sounds like it. So tell me more about Jackie.
All right. So Jackie, so I'll just start with one of the first questions I asked her, was what made you start, or what was the tipping point to start using? She'd said, I always struggled with my mental health, even though I was never officially diagnosed with depression or anxiety, and I really didn't realize I needed the help until after I got clean. Who knows, maybe if I had been aware of the help I needed then, I wouldn't have turned to drugs to manage my pain. In 2011, I was newly married, just had my second child, and had been diagnosed with endometriosis. I'm convinced that my doctor had no idea the possible damage that will come from putting me on pain meds that he did. However, he continued to prescribe me high doses of narcotic painkillers for 6 months. By the time I was physically dependent on them so much that I would get flu-like symptoms if I didn't take them in the morning. I didn't know what withdrawal was then, but now looking back, that's what I experienced. After he cut me off, I turned to illegally buying them from friends or friends of friends, which ended up leading me to heroin in 2014. I I was also in she was also in a relationship with an empath, or no, I was also in an empath versus narcissistic relationship with my spouse, who was also a heavy addict. We were extremely toxic for each other. Heroin and its lifestyle was like a shiny new toy, but only for as long as it was exciting and fun. What I thought was freedom from my pain really only led me down the darkest years of my only life, my family, and my children's life as well. In 2016, I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, still using heroin daily, and had now found myself using crack/cocaine almost daily as well. Christmas Eve, my father-in-law then picked up my then 2.5 and 5-year-old daughter, and didn't see them again until May of 2017 when I got clean.
Wow.
So that was my first question for her, because I think that's a common question, like where did it all start? And if you can kind of pinpoint it or try to. And then obviously the other question too was what was her final decision to stop and be clean? She said at some point it stopped being fun to get high. Realistically, it never was fun. It was just the one way I could escape from my life. My mental health took me into addiction, and it most certainly kept me there and handed me the shovel to dig my own grave. In May of 2017, I spent so much time on the streets alone. My mom had custody of my 2 girls. My youngest daughter was in foster care. I hadn't spoke to my son in 8 months. I truly believed that they would all be better off without me. On my way to my destination, to where I was going to end it all, by the grace of God, my mother and father pulled up next to me and forced me into the vehicle, where I finally broke down and allowed them to help me. From there, I spent 2 months in jail, a month in rehab, 3 months in a halfway house, and then 6 months in an independent supported living house. Once I got a taste of sobriety, there really was no turning back. My worst day sober is always better than my best day high.
Wow.
Yeah. Another question I asked her, is it hard to not want to use again? She said, I would be lying if I said this was a walk in the park. I'm extremely lucky to have the people that I do in my life. My family has always had my back, they've never given up on me. I've even met great friends along the way becoming clean. However, sometimes life can get unmanageable. I'm a stay-at-home mother. My 3 girls have been back home in custody since September 5th, 2018. I have had really hard days, but then I convince myself that I can handle it all on my own. It's usually when I have the least amount of control. It's important for me to reach out and talk to people when I'm struggling. And I know from being friends with her, that has been like a struggle for her, is when she's gotten better. She does great. But like for her to reach out and get help. Because she's tough. She's been through a lot. She's been through more than most people, I truly believe. I also asked her, what's some things you wish people understood or knew about addiction? And she said, I would honestly say that no person is immune to suffering from this disease. And those of us that are in recovery will fight these demons forever. It's a silent beast that lays awake, waiting for you to become so vulnerable that you do anything to escape. I truly believe that mental health is a gateway to addiction, which I agree with her. I think so many times people are like, oh, what's the gateway drug? What do you feel like marijuana is the gateway drug? And I don't think that, I personally don't think that at all. I think that you're just trying to escape the pain. The same reason why people commit suicide. They just don't foresee it getting better. And the place that you're in sucks so bad that you don't want to live, and your mind tells you like that people will be better off without you. You don't deserve to live. And you turn to different things, whether it's, drugs, whether you can go to counseling, whether it's that you commit suicide, there's a way out, and it's not always counseling. So, I also asked her how many times you would say you were going to stop but went back. She said that she went to jail in May 2017. When I got released, I had nowhere to go and thought I would be able to go back to the same place with the same people, expecting different results. I lasted 5 days out there before I ended up on my way to the hospital on an overdose and a sexual assault. From there, I went to rehab and never turned back. I also asked her, did you lose friends and family? And what was it like to getting their trust back? She said, absolutely. It was tough to realize I had some things to make amends for, but in the end, I gained all of my relationships plus more through sobriety. I said, what did you learn from all of this, or what did you find out about yourself? She said, I learned that I'm stronger than I've ever realized, and with the help of my support system, a lifetime of recovery is possible. For a lot of my life, I thought I was a weak person. I thought being an addict meant that there was something wrong with me and that I would never be normal or okay. And I am not done learning. I don't think I ever will be. I've learned more about myself since quarantine than I did in this whole first 2.5 years of my recovery. I think the most important thing that people need to know, either in recovery or active addiction, is your life matters, you matter, and this world needs you.
Wow, that's so profound.
Yes. Jackie is a pretty amazing person.
Yeah.
Her story is amazing. So
I think that's awesome. And I think it's really brave of you guys to have all this and, have the gumption to put it all together. I just think that's so cool.
Thanks.
Because not everybody would be able to want to help other people once they have been down their own road, because they're like, I'm too tired. I can't do it. But yep. I think that's awesome that you guys are putting all this together so that you can help other people.
I know, like, for her, she's lucky, like, that her parents were there. And same with me. My parents were a big support.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for both of us, we realize that not everybody has that. And so if they can, turn to us, or if they can use even the site, the group that we have, we post like positive things. If they can use that and have some hope, then maybe that's all they need. I couldn't imagine, like.
That could be all that they need. You know what I mean? I mean, there's just I don't know. So we were just talking a little bit about, the situation that I'm familiar with right now. And I know that since we talked the last time, I've been so confused because, there's this mutual person that we both know who is having a very bad time. And so what happens, maybe you can answer this, because if you've been on, your side of it, I haven't really been on that side, but being on my side, what happens to the people who want to do everything to help said person who might be having some emotional distress? And, is it okay just to let it go? If everybody just gets pushed away, just let it go?
Yeah. It's it's hard. It's really hard because you don't. I guess it would depend on the person.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes people do need to be alone, and the more that you push, the worse it becomes. Sometimes people push you away just to see, how far you're willing to go to see that they're okay. Sometimes people really do need space. For me personally, sometimes I'll push. I'll intentionally try to push people away.
Yeah.
Or like my biggest defense is and it's not a pleasant one, but like I will genuinely, generally and genuinely dislike a person before I meet them. I won't like them. I'll probably talk shit, partially because I'm an asshole, but because I'm scared. I'm scared to, especially like and Jackie knows this about me, like her and I became friends, but if she would have somebody else there, I would get very nervous because I would be like, okay, well, are you, like, what if you don't like me? Or like, well, I'm just not going to like you, so you don't have a chance to not like me because I'm going to hate you to begin with.
Oh, okay.
So it's just defense thing. I do it like a lot of times with my cousins and their friends. They'll bring like people over and I'm like, like just the asshole that I am. But it's not like I'm really not mean. I can be, but I'm really not trying to be mean. I'm just scared. And I'm not, and I'm like, I'm going to get you before you get me, or I'm not going to let you get me, even though that's nobody's intention.
Right.
But it's like, I'm not going to let you in because I've had people walk out, whether it's because I do obsess, I do worry. It could be my political views. It could be that it's just an argument, whatever it may be, like it hurts when people leave. It really sucks. And I'm not good with it. So.
Yeah. And I totally understand that. That's one of my biggest, not even a phobia, but one of my biggest fears. And because, we've all had people walk out who might be, could be a friend, could be a relative, could be a relationship. Everybody's been somewhat broken up with, whether it's a romantic relationship or not.
Right.
But that's why I'm just, because I know this particular person that we were just talking about is having major issues with, all of that, feeling like a certain way, depressed, and, and I promise, whatever you need is what I will do, whatever you want to make sure that you're happy, and because you mean everything to me. And then I just totally got like a snowblower came in and just got me out of there. So I was like, forget it. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it because now it's to my own self. I have to.
And that's what you have to remember is that you have to take care of yourself. You can only do so much for people, and you can only help them out so much. And it does. It sucks to be on both ends because a lot of I don't. Oh, my cat.
I love your cat.
Say hi, Bean. A lot of times it's not that, like for me, and I'm not trying to push people away. I'm not trying to be mean. And or even things like, so like for me, I was talking to my mom about this. Even family parties, I will walk in with like this piss ass attitude and my face like a mean mugging everybody, but I'm really just terrified.
Really?
And I don't know why, because like I'm close with some of my family, my other family, and no. But I know them. I've known them my whole life, but I still get like that, making his debut.
I love that. He's so cute.
He is. He's my little bean. But yeah, it's hard for the people to not understand. I don't think anybody particularly likes. Nobody sets out to cause shit, really. I mean, I think there are some people, but like, I think people are suffering from like anxiety and depression. It's not like we wake up in the morning and we're like, hey, you know what? I'm really going to just disturb the peace and really just screw everybody up. It's just like something comes in us, and then I don't know, like, and a lot of times you can hold on to it for a while, and it's until you want to talk it out, but you don't want to talk it out, but you feel better talking. And for me, I'm a repeater. So when I'm annoyed about something, worried or anxious, I repeat the hell out of it all the time. And I go around like I was mad about something today, and I was just like, all day long, you know? And I'm like, oh, this is stupid. This is stupid. You know, and I act like a complete maniac. And I know that. I hear myself. I keep doing it.
I guess, I don't know. I guess, so for those of us who are probably more on my side of it, who don't get it, but I mean, because I've never really lived it for myself, but I've seen so many people around me have that same thing. You know, what if, I don't know, what if you go into one of these places and are you offering them counseling? So do you just want to sit and chat? By the way, here's some shampoo, or are you just like, here's some shampoo, I'll see you later?
Yeah, go wash your hair. No,
I wouldn't say that. I might suggest that. Do you want to wash your hair?
Come on. No, I think that it would be anything. Do I think personally, I don't think I would sit in a trap house and carry on a conversation. You want to go do it outside on the park bench? By all means, let's go. And I will give you resources. And I think too, you know, in that bag we'll put in, you know, here are some numbers to call locally where you can get the help. But hey, if you want to talk, by all means, we can go to an open, neutral place. And I think that just comes from my years of social work. Is that, you know, I don't know. I go into houses, which there are some I prefer not to go in. But I've never felt like I was in danger or anything. But still, like even when we go, you know, my supervisor has us go in pairs.
Yeah.
You know? And she got really not like mad, but she was when I didn't, she's like, oh, okay, who are you bringing with you? Or who did you bring with you? I'm like, nobody, you know, because I'm like, I'm not inconveniencing somebody. And she's like, no. She's like, I don't care. She's like, I don't care what because I was like, my gut told me they were fine. And she's like, I don't care what your gut tells you. She's like, your gut doesn't tell you about the neighbor who's upstairs when you accidentally ring their doorbell and they come down and are like screaming and acting like a maniac and you're by yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you don't think about it like that. So, and she was in our shoes too, so she gets it. But safety is really important, and it really is at work or even in what we do. So
well, I think for any woman, if you're probably for any person, but more for a woman because women are automatically looked at as weaker.
Yeah.
And usually have purses that have cool stuff in it, like jewelry and money.
Yeah.
And medicine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be something that we have to talk about and, you know, figure out, do we take someone? You know, does her boyfriend come with us? Does Doug come with us? You know, I don't know. You know, we'll figure it out. And
yeah, I think that's really good to have a safety plan. And so here's a question, and I'm probably really out of line thinking this, but what if you go into a place, because I know me, if I went into a place and I saw like a sibling of someone who I was friends with or something, I'd be like, hang on. And I'd be like, boo, 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 you know, getting a hold of my friend or whoever it is saying, you might want to come over here to, you know, such and such Elmwood because you're whoever. I see your little brother over here, or do you know what I mean? Would something like that be inappropriate? Can you help? Can you offer some kind of help? That way?
I mean, you know, we can always offer the help. We can always guide them.
Yeah. But I mean, let's say if you, I don't know, pick somebody. Okay, they have family who you're just talking about. You don't get along with some of your family or maybe some of your husband's family, and you don't see somebody at the Christmas party, but the next time you're out delivering, you know, your supplies and you see somebody in there who was supposed to be at the Christmas party but wasn't because they were busy getting high or whatever, is that Is that doable for you to call your family member or something and say, guess who is here? Or should you talk to the person who's in the trap house or wherever they are on the park bench or in the park or wherever they go, the people that are the homeless or the addicted? I don't know. What are the boundaries for that?
I think personally for me, I would just talk to the person. You know, that's their.
I know. What do you do?
Yeah, because I don't want to be a snitch, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. You know, like I think of Jackie's story. It was her parents that saved her life that night, and is the reason why she's here. But I don't know. You know, like chances are they probably know. If they're in that kind of situation, chances are they probably already know. Like Jackie's mom and dad, they knew.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. I wouldn't know either what to do.
I think I would probably start off talking to just them. But then I think I might end up saying something to to their family or to my family.
I think if it were me, I'd probably do both. I would probably say something to the person who I was giving the care bag to and say, oh, I saw your such and such, your older brother at the Christmas party. He really misses you.
Yeah.
I would just leave it at that. And then I would go call the brother afterwards.
Yeah. I think, I think a lot of family members know. But it's, like Jackie said, it took her a while, to
in her own time.
Yes, it took her own time. And there was another time she had told me I want to say she was like hiding. If I remember correctly, I think it was her parents. She was hiding from them. She ran and hid in this like grassy area. One of the times they've tried to come out and get her. And you have to do it in your own time. And unfortunately, and I know this sounds like super insensitive, but sometimes there isn't the time, like it doesn't, it may not get better because they don't want to. And it's a hard thing to come to terms with. And sometimes it is too late. Maybe it's one time that they do overdose and nobody's there. But that doesn't make them any less.
Right. No. I'm glad that you said that because I agree with you. They're not any less. It's just my timing might not be the same as somebody else's timing. So It makes total sense what you're doing. And I really appreciate it that you're out there because I didn't even know that like a trap house. I just found out what that even was, which I'm still not even sure what it means, but I heard him talking about it on the talk. They were talking about a trap house and I was like, what is that? It's a trap house, but the way they were talking about it made it sound like it was a crack house to me. So is it the same thing?
I think they're pretty similar. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that we don't know about because we might not experience it. And I know like you were kind of saying with that person that you're having some, struggles with and being on the other end, it's hard. My mom especially was the one who was always on the other end of me repeating myself or my irrational fears of, whatever I was obsessing about or crying about or whatever it was. And it was always that repetitive, like having to ask her and her say, no, Kate, you're fine. You're okay. And 5 minutes later, but what about this? Or I would ask in 800 different ways. And she would try to be calm, in the first 800 times. And then kind of like you said, you're just like, oh my God, and she's just like, Kate, how many times have we gone over this? And then I'm like, oh, you don't love me. Like, and then it just like, it creates a whole nother.
Yeah. And that right there, what you're saying is pretty much something that just that happened because, as me being on this side of it, not understanding, because I have not felt that same thing. Everybody feels like depressed or whatever for a reason. I felt depressed, like, when my daughter is mad at me for something or other, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a horrible mother. Oh my God, I'm so sad, but I got a gallon of ice cream I'm going to go cry into. And I don't feel better. I mean, I feel better. I don't feel resolved, but I feel better. But it's just, I can watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians to get my mind off of it. And I find other ways that I guess would be considered rational because I'm on this side of it and I've seen it so much around me growing up with people, that I'm related to and I'm friends with, or, it's been around me. So I've seen it. So I try to find other ways to maneuver around it that are healthy ways to make me feel better. But, when I was, pouring out my heart, you mean everything to me. I will do whatever I can. Here I am walking on eggshells. And what came back in my face was, you're so condescending. And what? And it was just, wow. So that's why I appreciate that you're there because I wouldn't even know where to go. So
it's not, and I think when somebody is in that state or feeling that way, it's not, it's very easy to take things personally, but that's probably the best time to not take something personally because I know when I'm anxious, I am mean as hell. I don't want to talk to anybody. And if I talk to you, like you could probably say anything to me and I would bite your head off because I have such a knot in my stomach. I'm miserable. At that point, especially before medication, I couldn't keep food down. I was not TMI, but like I was in the bathroom all the time when I would get anxious. And it was just, even now, it's just not, it's not an enjoyable time.
yeah.
And you bite the heads of people who are the closest to you because you can, because you're comfortable and because, realistically, they won't really leave. And if you come back and you explain it, then they're probably more apt to understand than someone else. And sometimes when you're in that state, you really don't care.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against you, but it's hard for those people because they're like, what did I do? And I do it to my parents too. I'll snap. I'll do it to my husband. And I become vicious.
Yeah.
But,
well, you know what? I probably do that part too. And I just don't realize it. I probably become like, biatch. I know my husband brought me home Midol one time. And I was like, all right, point taken. All right. So I get it. And like I was saying, because I don't see it from the perspective that it would be familiar to you to see somebody else doing this because you work with it, that you've experienced it on that level, where, you got help. And so you can see it happening with other people and the pattern. So it's just beautiful that you're out there helping people. And, even with your job, both of you and Jackie both are out there helping people because somebody like me would be like, what do you mean? There's no homeless people or addicted people inside the Walden Galleria where I'm presently shopping. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't be in those areas because I don't feel that dark. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to retreat ever because that's where I get my enjoyment is being around people.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think that's a big struggle is for people to understand, that especially if they don't experience it.
Yeah.
And that's just like, that's just one of the biggest things. And the one time one of my counselors explained it to me that it's like almost like a horse race. And, I don't know if I'm repeating it right, but it's like when the gates are open, the horses go and they run around the track, but eventually they stop. So the doors I'm assuming, shut, so the horses don't continue. But for people with like anxiety, those doors don't shut. So those horses keep going and keep going.
Really?
Like,
Oh, I never heard of it that way.
Yeah, and it definitely put it in perspective, because it's like those racing thoughts and like how one can just lead to another, and it's just nonstop.
Yeah, I know. My daughter's explained, like just the other day, she was explaining to me what her anxiety feels like. And she was also telling me that anxiety can wake you up when you're sleeping.
Oh, lately too. Yeah, I've like woken up and just like my stomach hurts, and then like it's like nervousness, and I don't even know about really what. Um, before medication, I was big with like that OCD part of like obsessively not touching the doorknob or like lights on and stuff, but going through the day at school from beginning to end. And like if we had homework, and if I missed something, I would wake my mom up at 3:00 in the night or midnight, Mom, I forgot to do my science homework. Oh my God, I forgot to do my science homework. And she's like, okay, Kate, like we'll do it in the morning. Don't worry. It wasn't like they held me to these high standards. I just did it to myself.
Yeah.
I would wake up in a panic and oh my God, I have to tell them something. And, or if I would do something wrong that really wasn't a big deal, I would have to tell. I couldn't hold it in, and it would wake me up, or I would just have to tell somebody. It comes out in different ways, and it's not enjoyable. And it's like Jack said, it's just like something that we will live with for the rest of our lives, just like somebody lives with like diabetes or some other thing. I don't know. I'm not.
No, that's a good analogy. And I see where you're coming from, because talking to you has really opened my eyes a little bit about said person that we were just talking about. And like my daughter, who was telling me just the other day about how, this anxiety can wake her up in the middle of the night, and how she has notebooks. And I know that when she was a teenager and she would feel anxious about something, and I would just do what you said, I would say, well, then don't think about it. There's the gallon of ice cream. Eat the ice cream. Works for me. Eat the ice cream. But she does, writing. She writes on different notebooks, and she said that she could tell when she goes back and looks at them, she can tell where her anxiety was at its highest by how she was writing, and at its when she started calming down by how she was writing. So she keeps notebooks all over the house just in case that happens.
That's a really cool idea. And a lot of times, I mean, personally, like I found, and I see it a lot, like in my clients, and just I think in people in general, is that what you should do, but you don't do it. I know when I use my oils and I do yoga and I meditate, I'm a hell of a lot better. And when I'm not, I'm snapping at people and
oh yeah.
But in reality, I just plop my big ass on the couch. When I'm done, I go from my room that I work in to here, and I watch shit on TV. Like I could be doing something mindful, but I don't. And then it's just like you get in this rut. So I think that's like where a lot of people get is that initial pushing themselves to do it.
Yeah, so, and it doesn't help if there's somebody to help pull you out of it, because they're like, listen, I see. Well, I guess that's a trick right there. Somebody has to be able to say, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know with my specific situation, I said to, said person that I know you're going to end up pushing me away, because it always happens. It always happens. And I got like rock solid. It's not going to happen. And damn it, if it didn't happen. So I'm just like, then that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. So I'm very glad that I met you and that I got to talk to you. And I did get to talk to Jackie. She's not like Mr. Snuffleupagus. She does exist.
She does.
So I should probably post her picture on the page that people can see. But I did tag her so people can go and look her up.
She's amazing. She really is. One, she's not even a fan of the face thing, the video. And and just with everything going on. But she'll be on eventually.
Well, you know what? You guys can always go on together. You know, you don't have to be her at her house and you at your house. You can, you know, go on together. You can come here. We can talk about it together and go live. We can, you know, because I live in Lockport and we have better pizza than anybody. I'll tell you that. And I grew up in Niagara Falls, and I'll tell you that's a bold statement, but I've had them all. Trust me. I know my food. Lockport has the best chicken wings aside from Duff's on Transit Road. Lockport has the best chicken wings and the best pizza in anywhere in Western New York. Buffalo and Niagara Falls, except for I did not try one place in North Tonawanda, but I know my food. So we can get together here and, you know, have dinner and hash it out and go live and all that. So, all right. So tell me, I have your number posted. This is your personal phone number if people want to leave donations to go into your boxes. And then, your bags, I'm sorry. And then you did say that you're thinking about donating them to an organization rather than going and hand them out yourself. Is that true?
Yeah, so that's just something that like my husband had thought of.
Yeah.
I haven't discussed that with Jackie yet, but I think we'll definitely hit up the west side and kind of go through there and see who we can hand them out to and talk more about that. But yeah, leaving them with an organization.
Well, I know
some people don't go to organizations. They're not going to get the help, and they don't know that they're there.
True.
So kind of handing them out where they are, meet them where they're at, and where they're at is the street. So
yeah. And then are you going to talk to them about maybe coming in, or are you just going to say like something like, when you're ready, we can't wait to meet you over at the YMCA or whatever it is?
Yeah. I think we'll start by saying there's a list of, here's some stuff for your basic needs. And there's a list of numbers, that you can call in case when you're ready to get the help.
Yeah. So that's just a basic understanding across the board. When you're ready, everybody knows that pretty much.
Yeah.
That's really good because there's so many of us that never understood that because, but me being an ex-smoker, I'm always nagging people about quitting smoking. You're disgusting, your breath stinks, your teeth are yellow, because look at mine are.
Right.
But it has to be in your time. So I get it.
It has to. And I think, it's hard. I especially think it's harder the closer you are to people. So a lot of times where I am more forgiving with my clients, I'm not as forgiving with my family. And I'm a little bit different where I'll be like, cut the shit and do what you're supposed to do. But it's also, I feel like after you've given suggestions and after you've been nice and sometimes I am just rude. I can be a rude person. Especially to some of my closer family, like my cousin. You just are like, oh my God, just do it. You're making things harder. But again, it is in their own time. But I think it's a different. Sometimes there's a different piece to it. Like when it's your family, when it's your friends, when it's somebody you're closest to. But to really step back and to be like, all right, like at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that are addictions. Like you said, there's smoking, there's caffeine, and people don't think of it like that. But how many times has there been something, like if anybody thinks about it in their life, like that they've tried to kick a habit to and they've gone back? It's not that easy.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be that easy for someone to kick a drug habit or to stop obsessing or to stop being depressed or to stop a behavior that's really all of what they know. So it's just about trying to be understanding and more open. I am going live tomorrow on our group page, and I am offering a $15 gift card to Barnes & Noble. It's free. All you have to do is just like be on the live and comment here. And I'm going over like books because that's helped me. Like a lot of the books. And actually the person who inspired me to do something like this wrote a book. So I'll be talking about her book.
Oh, nice.
So
So what's the book about?
Her Jazz, the girl's book.
The person that inspired you.
Oh, her name is Jazz Thornton. Her book is all about about her life. She struggled with depression, with anxiety. She was sexually assaulted. She had a slew of things happen to her.
I guess so.
Yeah, and so, but she she tried to commit suicide. I'm going to say upwards of 15 times.
Oh, wow.
And there was always somebody there. There was always someone there to help her. She was in psych wards. She went through this whole list of things, and she's come out the other side where, she'll show her documents of her psych ward, of being in the psych ward and being institutionalized, all this stuff. And how now she's made a movie. It's called The Girl on the Bridge. I think that's The Girl on the Bridge. She's from New Zealand, I think. New Zealand and Australia, somewhere around there. But the movie's coming to the States soon, I think.
Did you say The Bra on the Bridge?
No, The Girl on the Bridge.
The Bra? What's a gra?
The girl.
Girl. Oh, girl.
The girl. Okay. The girl, not the bra. The girl on the
What's a bra? I know what a bra is, but why would it be on a bridge? I could say a gra being on a bridge, but I don't know what a gra is. So
no,
I don't know what a girl is. Okay.
Yeah, The Girl on the Bridge. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, she was just super inspirational. It was her and her friend kind of who did something kind of similar. They're just advocates. Her friend had an eating disorder, and but they've made it out, and
you know what? That I can relate to. I had an eating disorder for many, 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 many years, and it still messes me up from time to time. And that whole addiction thing, it just clicked when you said that. I get it now. The whole addiction thing, the food thing is like the ice cream in the freezer. Yep.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, same thing. I was diagnosed with an eating disorder, partial binge eating, and then also I have this issue with food. I don't know what it is. I definitely restrict food. I choose to be a vegetarian, and then I get the question of, oh, why are you a vegetarian? You eat no vegetables. And it's like, okay, well, that's not the point of being. Actually, it's funny. I just had this conversation with my client yesterday. He's also a vegetarian, and he's like, I can't stand when people say that. And it's like, the reason people become vegetarians is because they don't eat meat, not because they have a love for vegetables. And that's right. And I was like, oh my God, I hear you, because him and I both kind of eat similar. But for me, if it's a newer food, like a newer vegetable, it has to be small portions. It has to be cooked a certain way. I don't eat at a lot of people's houses because of germs and who touched what and were your hands washed. Even my husband, he gets so annoyed with me. The other day, I was like, hey, very rarely do I ask him to make me anything, because there's a process to it of the hand washing, and things can't touch each other. He cut me up strawberries, but they weren't cut the way I wanted them. They weren't cut how he cut them last time. I wanted them cut in fours. And then I was like, and you didn't wash your hands, and you were touching my strawberries. And so he was like, and he tries not to get frustrated, but it's like, I'm like, oh, well, why don't you just know this? Why don't you just wash your hands?
So that's like an OCD thing. I mean, not washing your hands. He should have known that for sure. But that's like an OCD thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like a mix between I do have OCD, again, not in the touching a certain amount of times or closing the door, but in the compulsiveness of how things are done.
Yeah.
So there's that piece. My dad was making asparagus, and he put it on my plate, and I love my dad so much, but he has he's very much just don't worry about it. Just don't think about it. Just cut the shit, kind of. Very supportive, always been there for me, but just very black and white with that. And one time he put asparagus on my plate, and I'm like, too much, take it off. And he's like, Jesus Christ. He's like, cut the shit. And But it is, sometimes I need that. So it's nice that my mom and dad are a good balance, because my mom is overly like, it's okay. And like, really will repeat herself 800 times to help me, where my dad's like, I'll repeat it twice. After that, you heard what I said. So it's a nice balance.
Yeah.
But
so dad's cracking the whip, being the disciplinarian.
yeah, and sometimes you need that. And as far as the asparagus goes, I just had to put some back. But you know
what? I'm just gonna say, my mystical side of me is gonna tell you, take it or leave it for how you want, but those are past life trauma issues, and I'll just leave it there. Yeah. So you were probably poisoned in a past life by somebody you trusted, who.
So I have heard that one of my friends, her sister went to like fix these problems that happened in her past life, and then that she brought with her to the future, the present. And she said that helped a lot.
Yeah, it's cell memory, and you can get over it at some point in time. Once you hear the words, it's a past life problem, and a lot of times past life issues happen very close to the time that they happened in the life where that was the reason that you lost your life, so there's a good chance that, somebody that you trusted poisoned you. It could have been like a Holocaust thing. You could have been, because that's what I'm seeing. Like, do you have like an obsession with like the World War II Nazi Germany videos and stuff? Because that's very indicative of that type of thing.
No, but what's funny is I remember back in high school, I went to the library and I got a book about like the Nazis and stuff, just because not that I like wanted to be a member or anything, but like I just wanted to read about it. And my one teacher actually told me that was sick that I picked a book out. And that's like, and I'm like, wait, I just wanted to know. And she's like, there's something that's just not normal. So,
it is normal. Yeah, it is normal.
I was just interested by it. Like, like, not that I agreed with it, not that I was going to like try to recreate anything. It was simply that I was just interested that all this happened. I wanted to learn more about it. But
yeah, so not a coincidence that you were there right then and somebody was talking against what you were doing while you were learning about. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. It's an issue that is going to keep reoccurring with you until you hit the nail on the head. And sometimes that isn't always a thing. It doesn't really happen, but since you've been made aware of it, and it's possible because you've seen it happen with people, it's a past life phobia issue, because that's how, some people. I have a friend whose little daughter was terrified as an infant, and even now that she's like, oh my God, was she like 10, of cars. She won't ride in a car unless her mom rides in the back seat with her, from an infant all the way up until now. Like, absolutely freaks out, loses her mind. And I'm like, because that's a past life issue, because you were her child before and she lost you in a motorcade when you guys were taken prisoner. And I said, just ask your daughter about it. So she did, and her daughter started telling her these things. And, and her daughter's very intuitive, so she told her a lot more stuff that I told her too. Her little infant, who was like 4 at the time. So I'm telling you, it's past life trauma issues that you're having with the food. I got it.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that for a second, because I've had issues. When I was younger, I was okay. When I was like little, I would eat things. I would eat what was ever on my plate, but slowly I would stop and like not throw fits, but like I wouldn't eat it. And I would get these ideas in my head of like where the stuff came from, and couldn't eat it again. But yeah, I don't doubt for a second. When I went to Lilydale, they brought up my past life, and in one of them, I had 7 kids, and on my 7th kid, I died. So that was was like so drawn to like working with kids because I worked in daycares for a lot, and now I work with children, that struggle with the mental health. But I actually ate and it sounds stupid, but my first salad probably like 2 weeks ago.
Your first salad ever?
Yeah.
And how did it sit? Did it sit good with you?
Well, the first day, when I did it, I don't know what came over me, but I just tried it. I was at my parents' house, and all it was just like the leaves and some cheese and a pepper from the garden. And so this was not like a big salad or like a real salad or whatever. I don't know what a real salad is. But I ate it, and I make this, of course I made the face that looks like I'm on the verge of having like a stroke.
Yeah.
But, like, I ate it, and I was like, I ate a salad. And then when we went out to dinner to Olive Garden, I ate the salad there, and I really liked it, and I had peppers in it. And these were like pepperoncinis, and it was a new pepper. And then I went back and got another salad, and then I got another salad and ate it today. So, like, for me, that's like huge.
Making strides. That's good.
So, but it's taken me this long.
In your own time.
Yeah, in my own time. It's funny because I would tell my counselor, she's like, what's one of your goals? I was like, to be honest, I want to eat salad like a normal person. I want to stick a fork in those leaves, and I just want to chew on them. Like, and before I used to have to rip up a leaf and put it on a crouton, so it was like rationed out, and it was the same, and then eat it.
Yeah.
And it was funny because like when we were visiting my aunt in Texas, and her husband, who is now passed, but he was my Uncle Joe, he would tell me that he would talk about my eating because it's horrible. And he would say, you need to eat salad. You're going to get colon cancer. So I would try to always eat like a piece of a leaf for him. And I was like, oh, this is for you. And so now I think he'd be pretty damn proud.
Pretty proud of you.
Yeah.
That's really good. And see, that's just the masses. If you ever had like a past life regression, I'm telling you it would come up, because now you're helping the masses that can't help themselves, but that there's a way out. So I think that, and even if they can't get out, you understand that it's not their fault, because everybody has to do it when the timing is right for them. I think that's a very appropriate name for your group in our time for, both issues. If it's just like something that you don't want to face for an emotional issue or something, and you'll get there eventually, hopefully, and it's in your time. If you are addicted because of probably an emotional issue, it'll happen in your own time. I think that's a really great name. I still am on board with you. If I will take donations here at my house in Lockport. If people want to leave donations of non-perishable items to help make either bags or things are you still doing the auction?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I haven't donated anything to that yet. But I see Kayla donated her Beyond Earth Healing, and hardly anybody bidded on it because I think they don't know what it is. So I know if mine goes in there, they're probably not going to know.
Like a video, because I don't think people understand, and I'm not the best at explaining that. I know what healings are. Like when I go to the temple, and before like church starts, I get a healing. And I know how wonderful that is, but it's like it's hard for me to put into words. It's like, besides if you go to Lilydale too and you get a healing, then but even then I don't think people really understand like the depth of it, and nor, to be honest, nor do I really. I just know how great I feel after.
Yeah.
So I definitely was going to bring that up to her to do a video, like a short video on it, just explaining it. And then also tomorrow I was going to talk a little bit about it when I do my live.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I could probably donate. I don't even know if I have any gift certificates left. I could probably donate one of my gift certificates for you. Or let's see. I just remembered that I have envelope right here. Man, it's been sitting here a long time. dang COVID. Let's see. So, oh, I have one left. I can donate that for you. So there's my gift certificate, White Light Mystic gift certificate. So I have to make a couple more, but I can donate one for a Reiki session. I can donate one for a reading session with this is my Reiki office, by the way, that I'm in. So this is, if anybody wants to come here, this is where they're going to be. And then, so these are my angel cards.
Oh, cool.
So I'm a certified angel card reader, so I could donate that too. So I'll donate 2 gift certificates to you. I just have to get the gift certificates made. And one of these videos that I'm going to do live is going to be for, just to explain, I think I'm going to start doing like Mystic Mondays or something like that. And, you know, save Tuesdays for, you know, helping the community. But I got to think of a cool name for Tuesday Friend Day or something. I got to think of a cool name for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think it's beautiful what you and Jackie are doing. So your number to, if anybody wants to donate anything to you, is a 716-696-2990.
Yep.
Okay. And your name is Katie, which is not showing up for some reason on the screen. And I feel terrible about that. I don't know why. Banner. See if I have one in here from before. I don't think I do. Great banner. So, Katie, how do you spell your last name?
Moriarty. And then it's Hume.
And so I should have done that before. I'm sorry. There, put that there. So, and then that's a telephone number where Katie can be reached. So anybody who's watching this, make sure you share this with all your friends. We can get it out there. I know our group numbers went down a lot. I kind of restructured things, and we'll try to get that out. If anybody doesn't have Katie's telephone number, you can get a hold of me at 716-534-6784. And you can drop things off here or donate things for the things to raffle off, and also the non-perishable items like shampoo, deodorant, stuff like that. Probably not soap, right? Because would there be anywhere to go? Which brings up a good point about the shampoo too.
Yeah, like I'm sure they're able to, whether they go to a friend's house or family's house, you know, I'm sure they're able. So, or even, I don't know.
It'll all work itself out.
Yeah, they'll find somewhere.
Yeah, it'll all work out somewhere. So this group, I'm especially very grateful that you guys are here. Thank you so much for talking to me one-on-one about my own issue that I'm struggling with, because it's very hard if you're on the outside of the situation looking in and don't get it. So I'm so grateful that you're here so that you can help people like me who are like, I don't see any homeless people. You know, I'm like, I don't see it. Where are they? I was very confused by your group when I first heard about it, because I was saying that, well, where are they? What do you mean homeless people? What? There's no such, not here. We're not in, like, where's homeless people? New York City? But I guess they're everywhere. So It makes sense. I'm very glad that you're bringing it to light. So I'm sharing the crap out of this. I know we went like way over. I want to try to get it down because I know everybody's attention span is like not long, but we had a very interesting conversation. So I'm very much looking forward to whenever you can come on with Jackie, and you know, we wish her the best with what's happening right now. I understand, but we don't have to stay at this time frame In fact, next Tuesday, I don't even know if I'm going to do Tuesday for sure. I don't know what's going to happen. So you're my last 6 o'clock Tuesday positively thing, because I wanted to make sure that, this little interview was created with two of us, and I want to make sure that I kept my word. So it's very important to me. So, but thank you so much for sharing again.
You're welcome.
So,
I'm glad I could get part of Jackie's story out, because I think it's important. And
absolutely. So we miss you, Jackie. We hope that you can come up with us one of these days, and we'll do something, even if I guess that's not going to work. I was going to say, even if I have to go to her house, but she's not comfortable with that right now. So
yeah.
I understand. In her time. It'll happen in her time.
In her time.
It's all good. So make sure you share this. Tell your friends to share it and all that stuff. Sound good? So here's a crisis text line if anybody is in crisis and needs to get a hold of somebody. You can text this 741-741. No, how does it go? 741 HOME.
So you text 741-741 is like the number you would text, and you just text home.
To home. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like a part of the number. It's just you're texting the word home to the number 741-741.
Okay. All right. And then there's this one, the Niagara County 24-hour crisis services, 716-285-3515. And then, there's these ones, which I also have, which I'm not sure if you have much to do with, but I really feel that it's important that they get out there. So the RAIN is for, I think that these are for, that has something to do with like sexual assault victims. So that's 1-800-656-4673. The YWCA, 716-278-9662, which is very similar to your number, now, isn't it? 299. No, I guess it's not even the same. Okay, and the mental health hotline is 1-800-662-4357. So if you're not watching this, but you're listening, write those numbers down, and you can always go back and go on the replay, because we're on here too. So, all right, Katie, it's been really fun. I know your room's getting really dark there.
I turned some lights on.
That's so funny. Your cat's like, peace, I'm out. Bye. He's snoring. That's really cute. So, well, thank you. So keep this, watch out for it, because I'll try to, how cute. He's so cute. What's his name?
Theo, but we call him Mr. Bean.
Oh, that's why somebody said hi, Theo. I saw a comment that said hi, Theo.
Yeah,
Mr. I don't know who it was. Facebook user. It comes up on here as Facebook user. It was Lucy.
Oh, my mom.
Okay.
That's her.
Hi, Lucy. Share with your friends. Share with everybody. Is Lucy a member? I'll have to invite her to.
My mom. She should. I think she is. And
okay.
She's not exactly Facebook like savvy. She tries.
That's okay. That's all right. In her time, that's it. Everything will happen when it's supposed to happen. So, and then, I'll start. You can watch out for the Mystic Mondays or whatever. See what I'm going to do. So, and I will watch you tomorrow. What time is it going to be?
Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, I will be live talking about books that have helped me.
Awesome. That's really good. You should have came on here when we were we'll do that. Somebody else I know who wants to also talk about a book that helped her with a situation that she's been finding challenging recently, that she's doing a great job overcoming. So maybe if you're up for it, I'll try to have you guys on together.
Yeah, Annie, just let me know.
Sound good? All right. Sounds good, Katie. All right. So we're going to go. It's like way long, but I really enjoyed the conversation. So share this with everybody. Oh, you're welcome. Anytime you want to come back on, you let me know.
I'm always free.
All right. Sounds good. As long as it's after 5, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. Right now I'm free all the time, so until I go to work, I'm kind of free now too. So,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, everybody. Lucy, good night.
Bye.
All right, bye. Okay, and broadcast.